You found our show, so come on in and take a seat. Warrior class, we got the keys. Dun, 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 dun. To get you where you need to be, just study our show, and you're gonna grow like crazy. Watching you will see. Dun, 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 dun. Warrior class, we got the keys, just watch our show, 'cause it's for you and your babies.
Welcome to Warrior Class.
Where the teachers whoop ass.
And you will too if you pass. All right. We're doing the Protecting Others episode. We're going to get into it, but first, we're going to give you some news if Omaniki has some.
I was hoping you had news today, Baba. The only thing that I've noticed sort of trending, I'm seeing so many videos of people getting detained by ICE, and I don't know if it's just people, like more people posting them, or algorithm or what. I'm seeing a lot of that, and I'm seeing a lot of course, our people being detained for like basically no reason, which it has always happened, but I think it correlates more now to I don't know, the erosion of the appearance of having some type of right to move around, without being bothered. But other than that, I don't have any specific news. But today's topic, I think, really is in alignment with some of the things that I'm seeing.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get right into it then. So, prosecutors, and tell me if you all remember this, but prosecutors charged Carlicia Hood, 35, she's 37 now, and her 14-year-old son, who's 16 now, with first-degree murder 2 years ago on Sunday, June 18, 2023, saying Hood encouraged her son to bring a gun into the Maxwell Street Express restaurant on 116th and Halsted in Chicago, as she argued with the 32-year-old Jeremy Brown at the pickup window. Hood and Brown did not know each other. During the argument, Brown repeatedly threatened to knock Hood out. So the man threatened to knock a woman out. Hood texted her son, who was waiting outside in the car. A woman customer laughed at the argument and egged Brown on. So she was, knock her out, yeah, knock her out, that kind of job. Moments later, Hood's son entered the store with his hands in his hoodie pocket. The argument between Hood and Brown turned physical, with Brown punching Hood, the woman, in the head at least 3 times near the pickup window.
Wow. I do definitely remember this. I think we talked about it at the time, and I just exited from my notes. Okay. After the 3 punches, Hood's son drew his mother's firearm from his hoodie and shot Brown in the back. Carlicia Hood is a licensed concealed carry holder, by the way. Brown ran from the restaurant and with Hood's son following. Allegedly, Hood ordered her son to shoot and kill Brown as he fled. The boy followed his mother's instructions and Brown died of his injuries. When the boy stopped shooting Brown, Hood pointed toward the woman customer who laughed about the argument and tried to egg Brown on, and Hood instructed her son to shoot the woman too. When the boy didn't, she tried to take the gun from her son, but he maintained control of the weapon. Both Brown and her son were found not guilty, and it was determined the killing was in self-defense. And I doubt that would have happened if he had shot that woman. So he was smart.
Right. So, and he was smart, and his mother was on emotion.
Really. Right. Yeah.
So, what does warrior class think of this? Training in the traditional martial arts of Africa focuses on three main elements in order of importance: avoidance of violent encounters, protection of self, protection of others. The last element, protection of others, means you are purposefully choosing to place yourself in danger in order to protect someone else, which goes against the second element of self-defense, which is protection of self. Why then would we care to learn how to protect others? The need to learn to protect others comes from wanting to ensure the safety of our comrades, friends, and family. Simply put, we want to know what to do and how to act if we see our loved ones being attacked. How is training to protect others different from training to protect yourself? The main difference is the lack of instincts that come into play when assessing the danger someone else is facing versus having to face the same threat yourself. For example, if someone throws a punch at you, you probably have a tendency to bring your hands up and forward, or maybe even turn your face away to avoid the strike. And although these instincts alone are usually insufficient to successfully defend against such a strike, these reflexes serve as a precursor to techniques such as covers, deflections, and getting off the line. But when someone else is facing the same threat or attack, your natural reflexes aren't activated, so it takes longer to process the threat, analyze it, and respond appropriately.
So how does this affect our training to protect others? In order to be proficient at protecting others, it is first imperative to learn how to protect yourself and how to fight back when your own safety is in danger. When self-defense becomes second nature, then it is much easier to apply the principles of self-protection to defending others. But on the other end of the spectrum is also true. When you do not know how to defend yourself, then you have no principles to defend others. If you don't have the wherewithal to learn to protect yourself, why would we expect you to have the wherewithal to protect someone else?
And once you turn the threat away from your loved ones and onto yourself, you better be damn sure that you can quickly neutralize the attacker to minimize the risk of injury to yourself and those you are trying to protect. Does that mean untrained men should just stand around and watch a woman get attacked? No. If three men are around and there's an attack imminent or happening, unless those men have physical ailments preventing it, all three of those dudes should grab old boy, grab him up and remove his ass from the area, or maybe even smack him up or stomp him out if necessary. Now, if you're trained and you stand around and watch a woman get attacked by a dude, you suck.
If you're concerned about the law, most states now say if the defender has a reasonable belief that force is necessary to protect the third party, then they're justified in using it, even if the third party is not truly in danger. So, brothers, don't let fear of the law prevent you from protecting a woman who's being attacked. And you can't use it as a crutch or excuse to not help. scaredy cats. All that being said, sisters train. None of us should ever expect someone to protect us if we are capable of protecting ourselves. If I go out with the students of the African Martial Arts Institute, who are all trained, of course, I don't expect any of them to protect me or come to my aid if I'm attacked. And even though I know I'll never stand around if they are attacked, men or women, they better stay chiseled. Shit, I might have diarrhea that day. Really, Baba? I might have diarrhea that day and be on the toilet when I get attacked. So at least be skilled enough to hold off the attacker until I'm done. Now, in all seriousness, I don't want my son to be with an untrained woman. I want him to have a woman who can handle business if she has to raise sons that they can, and if she has to raise sons, I'm sorry, I'm messed up here. I want him to have a woman who can handle business if she has to and raise sons that they can rely on to protect them and the other women out here in these streets. I hope that makes sense.
My son is that kind of man. And as a little boy, he reminded me that we also have to teach our children and our students when to protect yourself and others as well. Basically, there are 3 golden rules of self-protection.
Golden rule number 1. What constitutes a threat varies significantly by state, but it always includes physical harm against you. If you're a martial arts expert and you know that your assailant is unskilled and unarmed, you can't respond with more force than necessary to eliminate the threat. However, if you don't know the skill level of your assailant, if a reasonable person would think that use of your martial art abilities was necessary to eliminate the threat, generally the case with most situations, right? It doesn't matter if it is in fact true. You can and should use your abilities to protect yourself. You may not use deadly force unless you reasonably believe that the assailant is using or about to use deadly force, or is likely to inflict great bodily harm, or is about to commit any other crime, usually burglary, arson, rape, or kidnapping.
Golden rule number 2. Once the threat is eliminated, you cannot continue to use force. If your assailant retreats, you cannot continue to fight him unless he poses a threat to someone else. If you can retreat to avoid confrontation, you may be required to do so, but it's not necessary. Know the law in your state. True man doctrine. If you didn't initiate the encounter, you're not obligated to retreat, even if you can do so safely, so long as your assailant still poses a threat. The castle doctrine, an exception to the retreat rule. If you're in your own home, you're not obligated to retreat, even under a state following the retreat rule. The law is unsettled in the area of fighting with someone you share your home with, but many states are considering an exception to the castle doctrine for cohabitants.
Golden rule number 3. Don't be the aggressor. Peterson doctrine. If you're the initial aggressor, you can't use self-defense as a justification for a use of force unless you've made a good faith showing that you want to stop fighting. If you started a fight and the person pulls a knife on you, you probably won't be able to use self-defense as a justification. Most jurisdictions prevent even non-lethal aggressors from using self-defense as a justification if they later use lethal force to defend against lethal force.
And I have a question for Omuniki and for y'all in the chat and others watching. You're in the park reading Surviving the Urban Apocalypse by yours truly. When 3 black thugs show up, notice the race, 3 black thugs show up. One thug attacks a little white boy around 8 years old with punches and kicks. Another thug attacks a black man in his late 60s with slaps and bites. And the third thug attacks an athletic black woman with slaps on the butt and hands down her shirt. You can only help one. Who will it be?
I can only help one total, or I can only help one at a time.
You can only help one total.
Okay. So my instinct would be to help the sister.
The little 8-year-old white boy is being attacked by a thug with punches and kicks.
Okay, yes.
The black man in his late 60s, he's been attacked by a thug with slaps and bites. And the woman's being attacked by a thug with, and she's an athletic black woman, with slaps on the butt and hands down her shirt. You can only help one of them.
Right.
Who will it be? So you say you help the woman.
Hold on. Let me just give me a second. Wow, this is a hard one. Yeah, I'd help the woman.
Okay.
Because I think the black man, you don't say the black man in his, but he's almost 70. But he's only slapping him, but he's biting him, which is crazy. That means that something's wrong with the other person. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm like, he might be able to handle himself a little bit because he got grown men strength. But I don't know. He's almost 70. The white boy, it's a shame, but we're the parents. And let's see. Yeah, okay, I will help the sister. Oh no. What is going on? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought my computer shut off.
Okay, Omaniki said he helped the sister. Audience, who would you all help? Now, no innocent white says I'd help the 60-year-old man. Bites are infectious and shows the mind of the attacker.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy.
Anybody else?
Come on, y'all. Come on, Brittany. Put something in there.
And
brother Eugene Mason, the Spider-Man.
Yes. Now, Brittany said, this makes me think about the elderly couple that disarmed the shooter at Bondi Beach, but didn't kill the guy once they got his gun away from him, and he killed them.
I think she was talking about before.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was.
Okay.
She was. Yeah. That's terrible.
Emmanuel Briggs says he'd help the woman as well. Because she's basically getting essayed.
She is. But the boy's getting stomped out, punched out, and old man's getting slapped and bitten. So they're all bad.
Right.
See, Spider-Man said the children, the elderly, the women, and those who are weak should be protected. Yes, and that's why I asked the question I asked. Let me see, but the child is more defenseless, right? So you protect the child, Brittany? She said yes. Okay. And I put white child on purpose because some of us will have to check our feelings towards white people or not.
True. Definitely true.
Anybody else? Now,
There would,
myself,
to me, there's an order, but see, you can only help one. But there, I also feel like if I were going to help more than one of them, the sister would be more likely to be able to help me protect the other ones. But that also shows that she probably is more likely to be able to defend herself.
yeah, she's an athletic black woman. So, yes, she's more able to. Now, Brittany says, I would just see a child. Yes, yes. Child first, woman next, then man. I'm just waiting to hear from all of y'all before I give my take on this.
What do you think,
And
Eugene?
these are questions that I ask my students often because I want them to, not this specific question, but I want them to always be thinking if they have to act immediately, how are they going to act? Okay, so now you can only help one, Brittany, but if I see what you're saying, if you can, you have the child first, then you have the woman next. If you're going to only help one, then the man. Okay. Anybody else? No, because Emmanuel Briggs, I would try and help them all if I could, but you can't. You can only help one. Let me see. Is removal or physical separation an option? Is an option for one, but not for all. And I'm gonna give my honest answer.
As always.
Okay, so I give my answer now. Um, I would protect the child first. I also would see a child who's defenseless and he's getting beaten down, punches and kicks uh, on his body. Um, Second would be the woman, um, but I would expect her to defend herself to a degree. She is an athletic woman. Uh, this man is slapping her butt, not her face. Her slapping her butt and putting his hands down her shirt. So he's filling her up and stuff, and that could lead to more problems.
Definitely.
The older man, because I'm almost in my 60s. He's almost in his 70s, but a black man and some dude is attacking him with slaps and bites. Um, Now he's dealing with a nut, obviously. Mm, I might have to do him second and do the woman third.
Wow.
Yeah. because he's dealing with somebody with some
Mental issues.
real mental issues. All of them, they got some issues, but damn.
For sure. And I
Uh,
mean, someone who's willing to beat a child down clearly is,
right now,
I gotta check
I,
my.
I put white child because some of us have to check our energy towards white people. Um, I was in a Kroger once, and it was a elderly white woman, and she needed to get something from up on high up on the shelf that was too high for her. And people were walking by like woman, you know, find some other way or get something else, that kind of energy. And I finally I saw her in the thing. She wasn't asking nobody for help after a while, obviously. And I'd watched her, you know. So I went over and I helped the woman. Right. I wasn't saying at that time, I wasn't saying a white woman. I was just saying a elderly woman who needed help. Now, I wasn't gonna have a political discussion with this woman because I probably get pissed off, and then I leave her to like everybody else was leaving her to try to fend for herself. But a little white boy, 8 years old, and I put 8 on purpose because at 6 years old you have your character. Your character forms when you're 6. Before that, it's just your behavior. So he may not be a racist at 6. He just listened to parroting what he hears grown folks saying or whatever. But at 8, he's developed a character, right? Now, if this black thug was whooping his ass because he called him a nigger, I don't think I would get involved in that, to be honest. Because yes, he's a child, but he has the character. He has racist character. So I wouldn't get involved in that. But if that hadn't been said, and this dude just, I need some money, whooping his ass or whatever, I would get involved in that. That would be the first one with me. If I'm saying he's whooping ass, the other thug is slapping and biting the old man, and the other thug is slapping the woman on her butt and hand down her shirt. I would defend the boy first if I didn't have all these other parameters to affect my judgment. Now, well, yeah, I mean, shit. If the old man was like, you damn monkey, or I don't know, I still would probably depend. I was walking home once, and there was an old man named Mr. Flynn sitting on his porch, and he said something like, he was black though. He was black. I was black. He said, yo nigga something, and but he had a smile on his face. I stopped, looked at him. He had a smile on his face. So we both were joining each other, right? And then he said something about me being a monkey or something like that. And I said, "Oh, you old black gorilla." You know, we were both ignorant. But when I said that, he got insulted for real. You know, and he was an old man, but he was insulted, and he was like, why would you say that? You know, call me a gorilla." I said, "Why did you call me a monkey?" You know. So it was this conversation that we had after that. But if the old man was joning with the young black man, and then the young black man goes off and start, I don't know why he would go off and start biting and slapping, but obviously he got a problem. I still would have to get involved in that. The thug slapping a woman on the butt and reaching down her shirt. One, she's athletic, so I'd expect her, like I said, to fend him off somewhat.
Brittany brings up an interesting point, and I think it'll strike a chord with you because we know someone that this happened to. She said, "I was thinking woman second because sometimes even capable women freeze in those situations."
Yes. So yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, because I mean, we know somebody who's trained who froze in that kind of situation. Um, we found that out later though, and after I said, "Look, I'm tired of the dude that you're dealing with," because it was a domestic violence situation. I said, "What do you want me to do? Just say what you want done, and it'll be done." She said that she wanted a chance to redeem herself. I'll just leave it at that. Um, what could the old man possibly do to warrant bites? Right, right. So you dealing with insane, an insane person, but all of the thugs could be insane now.
And they're together, right? They showed up together.
No, oh the
So,
thugs.
oh, yeah.
Um, well, I didn't put that, but they could have. Now the what I mean, you say what would the old man do to warrant bites? What would the child possibly do to warrant kicks and punches? And what would the woman do to warrant some man slapping on her ass and digging in her shirt? If someone is biting, then it's hard to imagine the perp ever doing it for a sane reason. Right, right. Yeah, you can't. I mean, and that's why I wrote it like that. You can't come up with a sane reason why he is biting. Um, Gosh, that's so sad. I hope she made it out of that situation okay. Yeah, she made it out of the situation okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's fine. She's fine. All right, so now in those situations, and I'll say I have seen these things happen, except for the biting and slapping. Well, I really went nuts with that one, but but myself or writing it, but I could see it happening.
Mm.
I can see it happening,
Yeah,
especially in Georgia.
throw it off people out here.
Yeah, I can see
Definitely.
it happening in Georgia, in my neck of the woods. To be honest, um, and like I said, I would defend the person the person that was being attacked, but I don't know if I would kill the attacker. I don't know about that. I don't know. Now,
Hey, Kiki.
and it's crazy the 8-year-old boy being stomped out and kicked by the black thug, and if he was doing it and wouldn't stop, and I'm trying to get him to stop, pull him off, and he just still I that one I'd have a challenge with, to be honest, if I had, because if he's going to use deadly force, I don't think I could use deadly force on a black man to save a white boy. To be honest, I'm going to be honest about that. But I whoop his ass. I do that. But as far as killing him, I don't think I could do that. Now, in the case of the old man getting slapped and bitten, and if I see that this guy's going to bite his throat out or something like that, I might be able to take him out. I might be able to take him out of here. The woman, if the man's slapping her butt, going down her shirt, and yeah, she just freezes up, not defending herself, I may be able to take him out of here too, to be honest. But to kill a black man over a white boy, I don't think I could do it. I just got to be honest about that. But now, if you had a black boy and there was a black man about to kill the black boy, yes, I could do it.
Oh,
I would do it.
I did read a piece of news just prior, like this morning after I woke up, and I think it was in Atlanta. I didn't want to go further into it because it just sounded so heartbreaking. And I mean, I guess it's true, but there was a father and a mother who were not married. They were black. And they were arguing over diapers and wipes or something like that. And according to what I read, the father took the child out of the car in the car seat and placed him on the ground and drove off. And a car hit the baby. So
I hope that's not true, but damn.
I hope so too. But I mean, it was on a regular, not that they're trustworthy, but it was on a regular, news channel. So not a, so I don't know.
Now,
Speaking of throw it
speaking
off.
of what happens on the news, I was living in Phoenix and I was driving to work, and the reporter said, "Hey, we've got a report of a dog driving home." I said, "Well, get the fuck out of here, right?" Well, later on televised news, I watched the televised news, and they had a picture. Somebody took a picture of the dog. It was driving the car home. It had a baby in the back in the seat. I guess I believe the father had a stroke or something had happened to him at a grocery store, and Phoenix is hot as hell. And I guess after a while, the dog says the father ain't coming back. and it got the I guess it started the car and was driving. It hit a couple other cars and stuff like that, but
Sure.
it was heading home. I said, "This is crazy. This is crazy."
I gotta find that one.
Yeah, it was crazy. I said, "What the hell?" It was a German Shepherd.
I was gonna say, what kind of dog was it?
German Shepherd. Now, German Shepherds have they have about the intelligence of a teenager anyway. So, but I didn't think it could do that. I mean, it couldn't hit the brakes or nothing, so it couldn't stop from crashing or whatever. But it almost drove home. Wow. I just wanted to lighten up the mood because after you said about the boy, I mean, damn.
Yeah, that's awful. I'm sorry. It really shocked me, you know. It was.
Manuel said, I guess he has had enough. You talking about the dog or me? Yeah, I guess the dog was sick of it. And it was like, hey.
I'm taking the baby home.
Right. At least it tried.
Oh my goodness.
And the boy wasn't hurt, the baby wasn't hurt or nothing like that. So
that's good.
Yeah. And I said, man, this is crazy. I can't believe this. And back then, people didn't have the internet like they have now. It was internet out, but people didn't have access. Nobody had like it wasn't on the phones and stuff like that. But somebody got a picture of it. Somebody got a picture. If it was now that happened, it'd be everywhere. That'd be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But people be claiming it's AI. If it happened now.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, over the weekend, there was several drops from a company that, like Marvel sends their trailers and stuff, and then I guess the people show the trailers to different people, and they decide if it's good or whatever. Those have leaked. So the Doomsday trailers,
oh right,
they leaked like 2 of them. I think they played 4 of them at the opening of Avatar, at the end of Avatar. They played 4 of them, or the opening, I think. But this came out before Avatar, dropped, so it was leaked. And people were, screaming, this is AI, this isn't real, blah, 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 blah. And so nowadays, and I'm not sure if it was AI or not, because people were, screaming that's nothing but AI. I was looking for the signs of AI. I wasn't seeing it, but it could have been AI. People have gotten so advanced with AI nowadays that they will, they can make whole movies really with your favorite actor, and it's AI. So, I don't know. But this was real. This was very real.
What trailer you're saying?
I'm talking about the dog driving. That was real.
Oh, that is so funny.
And I said,
how was the trailer?
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, how was the trailer? Did you watch?
Well, yes. One trailer, which I believe is real, it shows Steve Rogers coming back as Iron Man. I mean, coming back as Captain America.
Oh, okay. I thought they were switching it up.
I think that's real, but I mean, I've read that
That's not
Anthony
that
Mackie
surprising.
Anthony Mackie's Captain America is going to be in Doomsday too. So I don't know what they're getting at, if they're going to replace Anthony Mackie or he becomes like some other name of his character, and you got the original Captain America. I don't know, but I couldn't tell the difference between which trailer was real and which one wasn't. Yeah, exactly. But in the trailer they show uh, this person riding up to his house on a motorcycle, and he takes his helmet off. You don't see him at first. He puts the helmet, and the helmet's red, white, and blue. Got red, white, and blue stripes on it. He puts that on the motorcycle, and it's known that Captain America loves motorcycles. And then he gets off the motorcycle and he's walking up the stairs. Then it shows him go into his drawer, and he pulls his Captain America uniform that's folded up halfway out of the drawer. He closes it, then he closes the drawer. Then he reaches over to this crib and he picks up his son. Then you see that it is Steve Rogers looking at his son, doting over him, or some child. I assume it's his son because the way he was looking. And that was pretty much it. I don't know. Then you got another one where Thor's voice is. I think that's fake though. So I don't know. Then they showed the Spider-Man one.
Interesting.
The Spider-Man one. I can't really remember what was in that one, but it was, but you can't tell whether it's AI or real. You really can't.
Maybe I'll check them out.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be going to see Avatar, so I'll just pull it up on YouTube.
Yeah, I ain't going to see no Avatar. Yeah, I think you can pull up the first trailer at least for Doomsday, and now it's been said there's a reason why. So the Robert Downey Jr., who played Tony Stark, Iron Man, he is now, he died in the last Avengers movie. And they say this one is a continuation of that movie. So now he is this person, I guess it's from another universe, is Dr. Doom.
Mm-hmm.
But it's done on purpose why he looks like Robert Downey Jr., why he looks like Tony Stark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
they're not just changing the characters and not explaining. It's an explanation why.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. But they also read that this movie is going to consolidate all the universes, so it won't be a multiverse anymore. It'll just be one universe. So, all right, y'all. Well, we're gonna end early today, and we're gonna deep dive into something next week. I don't know what it is yet, but we're gonna give them a deep dive.
Oh,
So, huh?
I was gonna say my mom is going to Togo today, so
Oh,
I'll get
really?
yeah get to go and check her out. I meant to ask you if you had any tips. Actually, I can ask you now, because she's never traveled to Africa before.
Hmm.
Any travel tips?
Yeah. Well, keep her head on a swivel.
Okay.
Um, Travel light if you can. You don't want to bring too much heavy stuff. Um, and have her some. And I'm honest about this. Have her some bribery money with her,
Okay.
because she may have to pay to pay for different things uh,
Right.
off the books. Yeah.
Yes, she's traveling with a group, Brittany.
Okay. Okay, that's good. And it's best to travel with a group instead of alone. My wife always goes to Nigeria, like, twice a year, and she has she's never traveled. Well, she has traveled alone, but she usually traveling with the baby, or you know small children, something like that. So, and yes, always keep your head on the swivel wherever you
I'm
are. But if you're going out of the country, keep your head on the swivel.
I'm telling. And thank you, Emmanuel Briggs.
Yes. Thank you. It was a great show, and uh, I'll have a wonderful holiday. I really don't celebrate Christmas. My members of my family do,
Yeah.
um, and my mother will wait for me to call. I'll call and say Happy Holidays, but I won't say Merry Christmas or nothing like that. To be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna go to a well, there's a Kwanzaa Eve celebration that takes place on the 25th because that's the day before Kwanzaa starts. So we'll probably go to that.
yeah.
And maybe a few other Kwanzaa events. Kwanzaa is pretty big in Atlanta, so there's lots of events that go on, and it's really nice because you a lot of the African dance troops and the drum groups and all of that get to really show off, get to really they have routines and different things they've been working on, and you really get to see a lot of that during Kwanzaa. So it's really nice.
Yeah, I've done different, not hosted, but I've done different Kwanzaa events. Um, speaking about warriorhood and things of that nature. So,
Yeah, bro.
yeah. All right. So, happy holidays, everyone. Brittany says, "Happy holidays to you all. Safe travels, everyone." Yes. If you're
Thank you.
traveling, um, be careful and be patient.
Absolutely. Be early if you
Yeah,
can.
yeah. If you can, be early, because it's going to be hell traveling these next. This next 2 weeks? I believe
Yeah,
no
bro.
week. It's a week. So
You
this
know,
next week.
Baba. Well, New Year's too. There'll be some traveling going on. Then I do. There is something that I saw recently, that they're starting to bring back in some airports. They're starting to allow people to actually accompany loved ones to the gate again. But you have to apply for a pass ahead of time, like at least 7 days ahead of time and all
Hmm.
that. But since 9/11, people can't go. Like when you see older movies and people actually go with the person until they get on the plane, like that was outdated for a while. But
Yeah,
now there's certain
well,
countries that are
we always go with. Well, she's a minor. With our daughter, like when she travels, Our daughter Yami is 17 now. That's still a minor. We always go with travel with her up until she's about to get on the plane.
That's great.
So yeah, and I say really, well, I won't say. Just use your common sense and your
Yeah.
judgment when you got family that's traveling. Whether they got you got elders or minors and sometimes not minors.
Right.
Use your judgment. Okay. Peace, y'all. So
Peace.
be careful in your homes. Be careful out there. Um, like I said, head on a swivel when you travel, and head on a swivel when you don't travel. Just
Yeah.
keep your head on a swivel. Um,
Stay chiseled.
and stay chiseled. Be very careful. All right. So, and stay black or whatever it is you may be. All right. Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.